Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to ESPN 9 The Nacho, covering all the most important news with exclusive coverage of Goodell Hunting Fantasy Football League. As you can see, there was one big trade that was made this week, brought to me by Jack. Jack offered me Tom Brady and Dallas Goedert for Russell Wilson sitting on the IR, trying to strengthen his bye week. Really helped me out. I appreciate Jack coming to me with that trade. And as you can see, Tom Brady here, sitting as my top ranked fantasy player, didn't exactly get me the win, but still, I appreciate that help. Moving on, let's take a look at that loss I had to Kyle. It just seems like Kyle's my kryptonite. I can never seem to beat him. Tom Brady came out strong for me, 34.44 points, 4 passing touchdowns, over 200 passing yards. Cortland Sutton, I mean, everybody on my team was respectable, to be honest, except for Allen Robinson. Robinson has been struggling with the quarterback situation in Chicago, and really, I hope they trade him. I've seen some trade rumors of him going to the Packers, help out Aaron Rodgers. I think that would be great. But Robinson was my was weakest link. Of course, Tyler Lockett has been struggling ever since Russell Wilson has been out. Unfortunately, DK Metcalf not struggling the same as Kyle has him. DK outscored Tyler Lockett by almost 17 points. Uh, Darrell Henderson doing pretty good. Joe Mixon all right. Dallas Goedert had a solid showing for his first week on my team, but no one was really standout except Tom Brady. And you can't get a win if you don't have people as standouts. Um, Unfortunately for me, Kyle also happened to have both Tannehill and Henry playing Kansas City. I thought Kansas City would do better than this, but they were completely blown out, 27-3. Patrick Mahomes gets hurt during it. I mean, what is going on with the Chiefs right now? I really thought that they would be going for the Super Bowl every single year for the next like 5 years at least with Mahomes there and people like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey, but they are just struggling right now. And Tannehill took advantage, not exactly meeting his projections, but solid game. Derrick Henry has always had a solid game. Both of them actually not meeting their projections, but still really good. DK Metcalf, we already covered him, but he had a great game. Kyle Pitts is finally showing up like the tight end that Kyle drafted. 22.8 points, 163 yards. No touchdowns, but he still got enough. And Cordell Patterson really having a resurgence. I do not know what's going on with this guy, how he's doing so well. I really had him as someone who should be probably retiring, but 16.5 points. Kyle gets the win. I move into 3-4. Kyle moves into 5-2 and actually cements himself in first place right now. So good for him. Moving on down, Penny gets back in the win column against Farfy. Farfy basically just gave her this one. I mean, as you can see, 3 players out on the bye. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Zach Moss all out on the bye week. If you look at her bench, it's not like she could have gotten more from that bench, but it looks like, I mean, she could have at least tried and pick someone up. Like, what is going on? I do not know. Justin Fields only got her 3.66 points, and is she really going to play him with Jalen Hurts doing so well? Could drop him. Obviously, Nick Chubb was out at that point. She could have put him on the IR, I believe. But either way, Farfy just gave up on this one, and she gets our Sacco of the week for that. Really embarrassing. Obviously, Jalen Hurts was really her standout player. Robert Woods had a pretty good game, so did Melvin Gordon, but I'm not going to spend more time on her team. Um, Matt Ryan and Chris Godwin both looked really good. Matt Ryan got over his projections, as did Chris Godwin. Ryan throwing for 336 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin catching over 100 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor has been looking like the only solid person on the Colts. The Colts did get another win. Maybe I need to stop talking smack about him, but it's always fun with Jake there. He gets so angry about it, and that makes me happy. So I'm just going to keep doing it. But Jonathan Taylor over 100 yards and a touchdown. And then Michael Carter, New York Jets running back, 67 yards, 37 yards rushing, 67 yards receiving. And then the pass defense did well for her as well. So she moves into 3-4. And so does Farfy, but there's a lot of people there. We'll go over the standings soon, but a lot of people there right in the middle of the pack. Jake did get a win against Manny. Manny also moves into 3-4. Well, Jake is one of those guys moving into 4-3. Um, I'm gonna actually click on this because I don't know what happened with this guy. Let's see. It looks like Jake started him. He just didn't do anything. Not targeted. Okay, well, bold move playing a guy not even getting targeted. Jake. Aaron Rodgers again solid. 34 points, 3 passing touchdowns, 274 yards. Uh, AJ Brown has been looking really solid, especially with that blowout against the Chiefs. 133 yards and a touchdown. And then Cooper Kupp, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns against Detroit. And this was, of course, Matthew Stafford's coming home game. So really good to see Stafford do so well. On the other side of things, Manny, really Sam Darnold got benched during this one. 112 yards and an interception. Not looking good for Carolina. They just got blown out by the Giants, which anybody getting blown out by a New York team is just embarrassing. Devontae Adams did well, but it looks like this week he might be out due to COVID. So not, or actually he was out due to COVID. I think they played last night. Sorry for getting this one so late, fellas and ladies. But Devontae Adams, 18 points, 76 yards and a touchdown. Hopkins, 1 reception touchdown, 53 yards. It's sure is fortunate that Manny's got those 2 top wide receivers, but didn't do enough for him this game. Fournette has really been having a resurgence for Tampa Bay. They get a big win, 81 yards and a touchdown. And then, of course, Scary Terry, over 100 yards and a touchdown. Really looking good there. Moving on, our weekly winner in the tightest matchup of the week. It always is tough when someone like Caroline comes out with 147 points. Looking at the league, that is good for third in the week, but not enough for the win as she plays the weekly winner. Nate gets his second win of the year. Caroline moves into 3-4, also in that middle of the pack area. I'm playing Nate this week, so I'm hoping he kind of calms down from that weekly winner. But Stafford, he played at Stafford in his coming home game, 36 points, 334 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans, big game catching from Brady, 3 touchdowns and 76 yards. Of course, we all saw the video of Mike Evans throwing that 600 touchdown ball into the stands, and that guy got a lot of stuff back for that, including a Bitcoin I saw. Kind of funny, but either way, Mike Evans was threatened to never get a touchdown pass thrown to him, but he got 3 this game, so good for him. Other than that, rest of Nate's team, let's see. We got Kenyon Drake, 69 yards and a touchdown, and Josh Jacobs, 1 touchdown, 39 yards receiving, 29 yards rushing. He didn't get a lot of yards from scrimmage, but saved his week with a touchdown there. And then Tampa Bay just blowing out Chicago, 3 interceptions, 4 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. Really doing well there. As I said, Caroline had a really good week. Kyler Murray, that little baby Yoda, still looking good. 3 pass touchdowns, 261 yards. DeAndre Swift, holy crap, 96 receiving yards, 48 rush yards, and a reception touchdown. It's hard to know who to trust on those Detroit running backs, but it looks like Swift was the guy for this game. And Myles Gaskin has really had a resurgence. He was on the waivers for a while. I think I might have had him and dropped him at one point. I wish I would have held on to him at this junction. 67 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce, I mean, always good to have someone like Kelce, but he didn't really do as much as he could this week. He was one of the lone Chiefs players to have a decent game, but still didn't meet his projections. And, of course, Deebo Samuel has been doing really well, battling injury, but 100 yards and a touchdown. Good for him. Moving on. Second lowest scoring. It's kind of funny. It's like the Bloxy-Farfy household. It just seems like when it rains for them, it rains. When it pours, it pours. And it poured on them this week. 95 points for Andrew. The only 2 people to not break 100 points are Andrew and Farfy. And if you look at his team, at least he started enough players. Farfy, what happened? Jameis Winston, 23 points. You know what? Really, I got to cover this kid. Andrew, you live in the same household. Could you not tell her to try and swap out some of those buys? I mean, throw her a bone. Geez Louise. Anyways, Jameis Winston, 220 yards passing and a touchdown. I think he rushed for 40 on the win against Seattle. Not too good of a win considering Wilson's out. Geno Smith's playing, but what can you do? Tyreek Hill, again, another Chiefs player, didn't meet their projections. Not too bad. Hollywood Brown, 17.5 yards, 80 reception yards, and a touchdown. You know what? The guy's fast, but he is not a number one receiver. Baltimore's got to figure that out and get Lamar Jackson some weapons. I mean, uh, I saw that Josh Gordon went to the Chiefs. He hasn't really done much since he's been there, but did Baltimore not even make a play for him? I mean, they've got to get someone. Chase Edmonds, 81 yards, did all right. Looking at the rest of his team, Miles Sanders, Mark Andrews, Brandon Cooks, not too much going on. His kicker did pretty good. Looking over at Danny here, of course, 30 points from Lamar Jackson. It's kind of rough for Bloxy when your top receiver is catching from his quarterback, but that's how it works out sometimes. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis, got 20 points, 100 yards, and a reception touchdown. 29 points from Damian Harris. I never know what to think about these New England running backs, but it seems like they got their guy this time. And Gesicki, you know what? I was mixing up Gaskin and Gesicki earlier. My bad. It's Gesicki that I had earlier and dropped. Also having a good season. 20 points this time, 85 yards and a touchdown. And then Booker, New York Giants running back, used to be on the Broncos. Broncos are probably missing him right now because we're having a bad season. But 1 touchdown, 51 rush yards. I guess they're not missing him too much. He did save his week by getting that touchdown. And finally, Morgan gets his 5th win, giving Jack his 2nd loss. They are now sitting there both at 5-2 in 2nd and 3rd place respectively. You know what? I don't think Jack has as solid of a team as it looks like he does, but we'll see. And to be frank, I think the same thing about Morgan. So I think that these are kind of some false records here that are going to slowly crumble throughout the rest of the season. It's a longer season this year, boys. Patrick Mahomes, again, he got injured this game. He's really been struggling these last few weeks. Only 206 pass yards, no touchdown. Moving on, Jamar Chase was really, along with Kamara, was Jack's bright spot. Chase, 34.6 points, 200 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Good for him. And then Kamara, of course, always good. Almost 180 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. Really solid there. But Joe Burrow, I don't like that guy. He seems like a cocky prick to me, but he's having a good season. 3 passing touchdowns, including 2 over 40 yards, 416 pass yards. Good for him. The rest of his team was really just solid. I mean, that almost 40 points from Joe Burrow put him over the top, but doesn't hurt when you got Jamal Williams, the rookie running back, getting a reception touchdown, which saved his week. James Conner gets a rushing touchdown, saving his week. I mean, a lot of these running backs, their points are looking better than they actually look. They're not really doing that much, but they're getting those touchdowns, which really saved the week for them. And of course, his kicker and defense, 25 points between them. That really helps him out. So let's take a look at the standings really quick. We are going into week 8, so I'll just leave it here. So in the Grand North, we've got Jack in first place, 5-2. The rest, 3-4 for Penny, me, and Manny. All 3-4, really even playing there. Francophone South, we've got Kyle sitting at top, also 5-2. Caroline 3-4, and then Danny and Nate both sitting at 2-5, both on wins though, so they're looking better. And then Anglophone South is starting to look a little more even, 5-2 with Morgan sitting at the top. Andrew and Jake both at 4-3, and then Farfy with, again, 3 buys sitting in there playing at 3-4. This week, we'll see what happens. I am challenging Nate to a water bet. I've sent him a text. I think everybody knows Nate will not accept. He has never accepted a water bet, and I don't know what to say about that other than, you know what? I'm just going to leave the implication there. Other than that, looks like we got some solid matchups this week. Right now, Manny is not looking good against Caroline. What I really hope happens is that some of these 4-3 teams lose and some of these 3-4 teams win. Just make it even more even. And then I'm rooting for. I would say Nate, but he's playing me. But I suppose I'm rooting for Danny this time, going against Morgan. Those are 2 former champions there, though. So. Can they both lose? All right. Well, this is Graham signing out from ESPN 9, The Nacho, covering exclusive coverage of Goodell hunting. And good luck this week, everybody.